Did Kwame Kilpatrick use money from a charity to raise his political profile? The feds say yes, and today in court, witnesses agreed.
7 Action News investigator Heather Catallo was in the courtroom for this 11th day of testimony.
Heather, who did the jurors hear from today?
Well, we heard from some of Kwame Kilpatrick's former PR experts, and once again today the government played Follow the Money again, showing some checks written from the Kilpatrick Civic Fund for what they say are political expenses. The Kilpatrick Civic Fund was supposed to help kids and seniors. Instead, federal prosecutors allege Kwame Kilpatrick used the nonprofit as his personal piggy bank. The former Detroit mayor, his father Bernard Kilpatrick, former city contractor Bobby Ferguson, and ex-water department director Victor Mercado are all on trial, accused of racketeering and conspiracy. First on the stand today, Kilpatrick's one-time public relations expert Bob Berg.
It was what it was.
Berg told the jury that Kilpatrick's mother, former Congresswoman Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick, asked him to help with her son's campaign for mayor. Assistant U.S. Attorney Michael Bellata showed the jury 2 different checks from 2001 made out to Berg's PR company, both for $5,000. The checks were written from the Kilpatrick Civic Fund account, which is not supposed to be used for a political candidate's campaign. When Bellata asked Berg, "Did you ever do any work for the Kilpatrick Civic Fund?" Berg said no. During cross-examination, Kilpatrick's attorney Jim Thomas reminded Berg about a newspaper story from 2001 about questions that were raised about donations to the Civic Fund from homeless shelter owner John Rutherford. When Thomas asked Berg if he had advised Kilpatrick about how to handle that Civic Fund issue with the media, he said yes. But Berg ultimately insisted he was working for the campaign. Next on the stand, Tracy Walker. Federal prosecutors showed the jury that her former PR firm was also paid almost $15,000 from the Civic Fund account. Walker told the jury that her goal at the time was to make sure Kilpatrick got elected. But Thomas showed the jury Walker's contract, which clearly showed she was hired to raise Kilpatrick's profile for the Civic Fund and the State House Democratic Caucus.
Well, how can it be in the worst possible light when you get a woman coming in talking about the fact that she contracted with the Civic Fund and a check was paid to her from the Civic Fund? I don't understand. It is an entirely a misspent focus on what ordinarily would be an audit.
The feds also brought in the CFO of a D.C.-based research company that Kilpatrick used during his 2005 campaign. The CFO testified that she was asked to change the name on an invoice to bill the Kilpatrick Civic Fund instead of the political campaign for more than $26,000. Now, if the nonprofit was supposed to be used for educational purposes, why was there a check written from the Civic Fund to a spyware shop for anti-bugging equipment? The 7 Action News investigators will have more on that coming up at 6 o'clock, and I'll have more details about some more text messages that were introduced in court today. Reporting live at the federal courthouse in downtown Detroit, I'm Heather Catallo, 7 Action News.